How to complete an affidavit of capital improvement, Form E-589CI. This form should be used to document that the work performed by a real property contractor should be treated as a capital improvement to real property and taxed as a real property contract for sales and use tax purposes. You cannot use the affidavit to purchase materials or other items exempt from tax, nor to certify sales and use tax has been paid on materials. You may issue an affidavit of capital improvement if you are a property owner, lessee, or tenant, or a real property contractor. The affidavit has two sections, but you should only complete one of them. You need to determine if you should complete Section 1 or 2. Section 1 is for single use. Section 2 is for blanket use. If you are a property owner, lessee, or tenant, you should only complete Section 1. If you are a real property contractor, you should complete Section 1 if you hired the subcontractor for a single transaction, or the subcontractor may do work for you that is not taxed as a real property contract. You should complete Section 2 if you hire the subcontractor only to perform capital improvements to real property, and all transactions with the subcontractor should be taxed as real property contracts. For example, a new home builder who hires a subcontractor only to only work on new construction projects should complete Section 2. Now let's complete Section 1 using an example. John homeowner hires NC Fence Company to permanently install a new wood fence onto his real property, a newly constructed home. This example is a capital improvement to real property. As the owner of the real property, John would complete Section 1. In Box A, John enters his name and address. In Box B, he enters the name and address of the contractor he hired to install the fence. John then enters a description of the job to be performed. The description should describe the work to be performed by the real property contractor identified in Box B. Next, he enters the project name and address. Lastly, John signs the affidavit, enters his title and the date of his signature. He then provides a copy of the signed affidavit to NC Fence so that NC Fence knows how to treat this contract for sales and use tax purposes. The contractor, NC Fence, must keep the affidavit for their records. Now let's complete Section 2 using a different example. David, general contractor, hires NC electricians to install the electrical wiring in all homes for a new subdivision. David only hires NC electricians to perform electrical work for new construction. In Box C, David enters his name and address. In Box D, he enters the name and address of the subcontractor he hired to install electrical wiring in the new subdivision, NC Electricians. Lastly, David signs the affidavit, enters his title and the date of his signature. David then provides a copy of the signed affidavit to NC Electricians so that NC Electricians know how to treat this real property contract for sales and use tax purposes. The contractor, NC Electricians, must keep the affidavit for their records. If you need additional guidance, please visit our website at ncdor.gov.